Israel is the most controversial country in the world. Still, more than 30 countries do not recognize Israel. Pakistan is one of them. The Prime Minister of Pakistan says that he has pressure from a friendly country to accept Israel. Though he did not mention the name, yet we all know which country was it. However, he certainly mentioned that Pakistan has no plan of accepting Israel in the future. Prime Minister Imran Khan further elaborated that, Israel's lobby is the most powerful, and that's why America's whole Middle East policy is controlled by Israel. Israel wanted to have good relations with Pakistan. In 2016, Israel Prime Minister Benjamen Netanyahu candidly said, "We, Israel, are not an enemy of Pakistan and Pakistan should not be our enemy either. We will compare both the country economically, geographically, militarily, and politically." Pakistan has the world's 42nd largest GDP with a worth of $315 billion. Israel is number 35th in the ranking of GDP with a worth of $395 billion. The GDP of the countries is almost the same. However, GDP per capita tells a different story for both countries. GDP per capita divides the country's gross domestic product by its total population. It is a measure of a country's economic output. According to GDP per capita, Pakistan ranks 161st, while Israel ranks 21st in the world. Pakistan is an agricultural country. The agriculture sector plays a backbone in the economy of Pakistan. Primary export commodities include textiles, leather goods, sports goods, chemicals, and carpets, rugs. The geographical location of Pakistan plays a pivotal role in the economy of Pakistan. Economists believe that CPEC will be a game changer for Pakistan. Though Israel is also self-sufficient in agriculture, its economy depends upon startups and research and developments. No country is able to beat Israel in R&D. When it comes to tech innovation startups, Israel is unrivaled. Both Pakistan and Israel are nuclear powers, which means if the countries went to war, the results would be catastrophic. Global firepower ranks Pakistan as the 15th strongest army in the world, while Israel army is the 18th strongest army in the world. Military service is mandatory for all the Israelites. Men serve for 3 years, women usually serve under 2 years. Pakistan army is said to be the most professional military in the world. On the other hand, the Israel army is the most technologically advanced army. Pakistan has 190 nuclear assets while Israel has 80 nuclear assets. Pakistan military has 1,204,000 total personnel, while Israel has 615,000 total personnel. Active personnel. Pakistan, 654,000. Israel, 169,500. Reserve personnel. Pakistan, 555,000. Israel, 465,000. Tank strength. Pakistan, 2,200. Israel, 2,760. Armed fighting vehicles. Pakistan, 7,330. Israel, 10,275. Air strength. Pakistan, 1,372. Israel, 589. Fighter aircraft. Pakistan, 356. Israel, 259. Naval strength. Pakistan, 100. Israel, 65. Submarines. Pakistan, 8. Israel, 5. Geographical location of Pakistan is of immense importance. Pakistan is a neighbor to China, which is the current economic power and emerging superpower of the world. Feeling the geographical importance of Pakistan, China has started one of the biggest world project called CPEC. It is a $1 trillion project. China had the only route of Hong Kong to trade with the world. Whereas, through Gwadar Port, China has to cover the half distance for trade. Gwadar Port is located in the Baluchistan province of Pakistan. Gwadar Port, which is perhaps the deepest port in the world, is equally as highly helpful for this trade. Moreover, Afghanistan and other Central Asian countries are landlocked. In order to trade with the world, they are dependent on Pakistan. The geographical location of Pakistan provides some disadvantages to Pakistan, as it is a neighbor of India, which is its worst rival from the beginning. Two countries have fought many wars. For this, both countries spend a large part of their budget on protecting borders from foreign invasions. For Israel, things are more complicated. Israel is the only Jewish state located among the Muslim countries. Though the relationship between Israel and Arab countries is getting better day by day, Israel's major rivals Iran and Turkey are located in the Middle East. Israel is trying hard to convince more countries to accept it and start foreign relations with it. Although only 4 Muslim countries formally accepted Israel till now, there are others that are willing to accept but are not able to face the backlash from other Muslim countries. Israel is still not recognized by more than 30 countries. Israel has developed good international relations with all the major countries of the world except for the Muslim countries. Its relations with the current superpower US are commendable. Contrary to that, Pakistan has fluctuating relations with the US, due to the war on terror. European Union and England clearly supported Israel since its independence. Till now only 4 Muslim countries Egypt, Jordan, Tunisia, and UAE formally recognized Israel. Israel and Saudi Arabia are getting closer day by day. Iran and Turkey are the big rivals of Israel in the Middle East. For Pakistan, its biggest enemy from the beginning is India. Since its independence 2 countries had fought many wars. Pakistan's relations with China and Turkey are remarkable. China is investing billions of dollars in Pakistan to develop a corridor that will connect China with the Arabian Sea. Disclaimer. This channel does not promote or encourage war. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.